What's good, LL Nation? Man, we tried to give you guys a little break during the NFL draft. Got some big things going on. As always, it's the Lucky Lefty podcast, featuring and brought to you by Onora Whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. It's that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. And if you drink, make sure that you drink responsibly. So, Malik is getting everything set up. Wanted to start. Everything's been delayed long enough for tonight. We had to push things back extra late. So this is Lucky Lefty After Dark. Should have been another episode of Oh and Another Thing, especially with everything that's being talked about surrounding the NIL situation. We'll talk about that. We'll have some video for that. Very interesting comments from former Notre Dame great college football Hall of Famer, offensive tackle, former NFLer Aaron Taylor. And also the Hall of Famer himself from Jackson State, head coach Deion Sanders, primetime, chiming in on his sit down with Coach Carl Reed. So, it's going to be very interesting how this thing plays out. I think the last time I was with you guys, I told you about the legislation that had been passed in the state of Mississippi, allowing schools and universities in the state of Mississippi to be in direct contact with players concerning NIL opportunities. And now what happened with Addison from Pitt over the weekend with USC reportedly. And we go back to last offseason, Pat Narduzzi was upset because, he said Notre Dame reached out to Kenny Pickett. And, we'll get into it because Malik and I sit on opposite sides of the fence. Malik is okay with everything being the Wild Wild West. I'm not with that. I think NIL coming in the format that it started has definitely put a damper on recruiting. In a sense, I am a purist, in a sense. And it's really not being a purist. I go back to when I decided to choose my college. Everything was different. We didn't have portals like these kids have today. We didn't have our own iPad, passwords, and usernames, with all the colleges connected under the same database. Nothing like that. We had this thick book in our counselor's office, and we had to write a letter to that said university that we were interested in to get an application to apply, and then fill out the application, pay the application fee, and then mail it back in. It was crazy. I mean, that was the process. But the one thing that hasn't changed, or I don't feel like should change ever, regardless of you're talking about a student athlete or a student at a college or a university, that choice is about where that young man or young woman feels like they want to spend the next 4 years of their life and where they feel most comfortable. That's what it comes down to. Like, my parents literally didn't participate at all. Like, they asked me what I thought. They asked me what my top schools were. And my dad was like, wherever you want to go, you can go. And it was as simple as that. And eventually, I decided to go to the University of Illinois, Champaign-Urbana. Forget all the NIL stuff. NIL has impacted the parents more than it's impacted the kids. Like, I talk to these kids, I talk to these recruits, and these recruits still operate from the standpoint of relationship with coaches, atmosphere, fit, offense, defensively, and team, the vibe. That's still the main thing. It's the parents that get in the ear of these young people and take the love of the recruiting process and what should be at the core of the recruiting process away from the kids. And kids no longer can just look at schools based upon the main factors that have decided where young men and women go to school as student athletes for over the past 50, 60 years. It's absolutely ridiculous. Right? So now you have kids that absolutely love a school, and won't commit. And then other schools come in with NIL deals, lucrative opportunities, and the next thing you know, hey, things are going haywire. People don't want to commit. They're taking extra visits. And honestly, there's no way to fix it. Why? Because the NCAA refuses to meet the universities and the presidents and the student athletes halfway. It's either all or nothing for the NCAA. Either they want control of all of the revenue or they don't give a darn, which ultimately they're telling you that they never gave a darn about the student athlete. They didn't. It was a business model. That's all it's ever been. A business model. All of this stuff about student athletes and we want to do the best we can for our student athletes and it's all about education. And man, stop that. Because if it was all about education, you would turn around and take the revenue from the sport and throw it back into the students. But you don't do that. You don't do that. That's why we had a disparity. And I don't want, I'm not trying to preach tonight. I'm really not. That's why you had a disparity between men and women's sports. That's what it is. Right? Because they only care about the programs that give the greater revenue. And they will only pour into those programs. That's it. Because if it was about the greater good and making sure there was a level playing field, things would be better from that standpoint, in my opinion. But what's happening now with Jordan Addison, Lincoln Riley, USC reportedly offering NIL deals to get this young man to transfer. Yo, Jordan Addison, you have to be better, bro. That's just my opinion. You have to be better, right? Because you've just gone through spring practice. You just had the spring game. And now you're telling me you're going to walk in there and tell the guys that you've sweated and bled with that because of financial reasons, you're going to go out. And this reminds me of the one and done rule and why, once again, parents. I know a basketball player from Chicago went to a big time Big 12 university. He was definitely a one and done guy. Played in a total about 16, 15 games. NCAA launched an investigation. And then the investigation, they found that not he, but his parents, both of his parents, had taken benefits from outside sources. And it affected his eligibility. When he was asked by the university, that said university, to go ahead and admit that he had nothing to do with it, which would have thrown his parents under the bus, but his parents probably would have gotten a slap on the wrist and been forced to pay back the money that they took, but he would have been eligible to play. You know what this kid did? He chose his parents. He chose his parents over the school and tried to go pro. Do you think that coach spoke well to this young man when NBA scouts came calling? No. And he wasn't drafted at all in 2 rounds. And he's still trying to make it into the league to this day. Lucky Lefty podcast. My dude.
That's right.
What's good with it?
We back at it for a nice session. I hear you talking about the draft.
You rocking the fro tonight?
Rocking the fro till I get the hair done. You know how it goes.
Yeah, baby. Winning time style, boy. HBO.
That's right. That's right. Have you checked it out? What you think of it?
No, it was one of my favorite shows.
Really?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite shows, man. A lot of people have hang-ups about it because it sheds a negative light on some people that are looked upon as heroes, especially within the black culture. But yo, some of the stories we've heard about. If you've been around the game, you've heard about certain stories. And look, let me tell you something, man. I didn't know that cat Dr. Jerry Buss got down like that, bro. Like I
Now
knew
you
he got down, but I didn't know he got down like that. Like I didn't know that dude had a reserved room at the Playboy Mansion every day, dog. Like that, that's that's next level, fam. Like you up in there like you a roommate with Hugh Hefner?
oh man,
That's what
look.
we doing?
Now you see him getting upset about it and want to take it to court. He must really think that they done told too much.
But the whole Magic Johnson thing, he's been very open about how he was. You
Well,
know,
but it's not fair to the athlete because their whole life is on display. So we got a glimpse to see what maybe he was really like. Jerry West. We don't get to hear about guys like that. So now hearing about guys like that or seeing a depiction of it, it really paints the picture of probably better social media didn't exist back then.
and also the way they, if you don't know, like my father's favorite team was the Lakers. So growing up, I knew about Jack McKinney. I knew about Paul Westphal. I knew about the beef between Norm Nixon and Magic Johnson that eventually got Norm Nixon traded. So these stories aren't new to me. Like they're not new to me. Like I know these stories. I remember hearing them as a young man. So now for me to see it in the form of a series, it's like, yo, this is wow. This is crazy. So it's kind of cool for me. And if you're gonna watch that, go watch Magic Johnson's documentary on Apple Plus, Apple TV as well. It's dope. One of the dopest things about that is, he was talking about how his time with Cookie when they dated in college and how unfair he was to her. And all of her friends from college are part of the documentary talking
Of
about
course.
event.
Of course they are.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like he was fair.
he
He
wa-
was
he
fair.
gave him he gave him the time they probably, he
He was
gave them
fair.
little 5 minutes to tell what they need to tell,
Yeah, dude, but it's college, right? Like I remember one of my friends, one of my female friends from high school, she's like, yeah, college I didn't have fun because, I was with somebody the entire time in college. And my response to her was like, why? Like, who goes to college to be
Yeah.
with the same person for
Yeah,
four
yeah.
years?
See,
It's kind of like,
I think it's
you know
different.
what? The transfer portal is really like college life right now. Now that you think
Oh,
about
yeah.
it, it really is. It's like it's like a Thursday night at the local bar for students. Like, yo, everybody just in the portal or in the local bar looking to link up. Like, who can I leave with?
Yeah, seriously. And if you don't like it, you just go to the next one. I mean,
Right.
it's pretty wild when you think about it because there's so many parallels, but this just shows you that it's whenever you're dealing with money,
Yeah.
whenever you're dealing with high entertainment business and sports like this, there's is really no I guess there's really no fair way to or equal way to ever do it because it's all those factors involved. And when it's like that, it's just there's going to be some inequities within
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So, big weekend. Let's start off talking about Notre Dame in the draft, and then we'll talk about the draft within itself. What's your thoughts on how Notre Dame fared in the draft? Were you shocked? Hey, we can start with Cal, his drop to the teams. We can start with Jack, Kevin Austin not being drafted, going as free agents, Kyron going as late as he did. What's your overall thoughts?
Overall, it's good to see Notre Dame guys get a shot in the league. I learned from Charlie Fry that getting the chance is all you can really ask for when it comes to NFL, whether it's
Shoot.
drafted or getting even picked up or signed undrafted. I mean, that's all you can ask for because it's all the same thing. Because
Let's
if you
keep it
don't
a
go up
buck.
there and play good,
Yeah,
you're definitely not sticking around long. So, I mean, shoot, it was even tough for me to even get an invite. So I know if you get signed in any fashion, that's the starting point you need in a league like that.
yeah,
Nowadays, you have so many different leagues: the USFL, the AAF, the XFL, the call it the fan call it football. I mean, you got all these different the Canadian leagues. So now, maybe it's not as bad as if you don't get to the NFL because if it's about making money and playing football, there's a lot more avenues to do that. So, getting drafted in what is the most elite uh, league right now, I mean, that's pretty dope. But for the Notre Dame guys, you know, it's interesting because it's hard to predict. It just shows you how much of a lottery the draft really is. Guys thinking they're going top five, guys end up falling, guys thinking they're getting drafted and end up not getting drafted until the fifth, sixth round, maybe not drafted. It sucks. But at the end of the day, you got to just go and prove it if you get your opportunity, which is what it's about. Guys like Kyle Hamilton, I mean, hey, you in the first round. So if you disappointed you wasn't top 10 and you was in the first round, I mean, hey, you in good company. I think he fell to a great team, a team that fits exactly what they were looking for and exactly what he probably wants to be a part of, especially in a rookie year. They're going to be in the playoff contention. They're in a good division. He's going to be challenged because if you're a first round, you got to be put in there.
yeah.
So it's good to see Kyle Hamilton get his, that prime position. Marcus Freeman was there. It's one of the stories is that it's funny to see all the college football coaches recruiting, sitting in the draft room talking to the recruits saying that could be you.
Facts.
And
Facts.
so I know Marcus Freeman was on the phone a little bit with some guys. Kyle just making the program looking better. I mean, he was fresh to death. Definitely, Cam Hart was there. It was good to see, Cam Hart try to see himself there next year. A lot of defensive guys went. That was pretty cool to see. Little surprised by Kyron.
Hey,
Uh,
you know what though? I'm glad in the case of Kyron that the Rams didn't say, "Man, F them picks."
that's right. That's right. They didn't say F them picks to him. They may say F them first round picks. They didn't say F them picks to Kyron. So
Right.
he also is in a great team, a team that's definitely looking to be in the Super Bowl, at least in the end of the road, into the season. Gives them more opportunities to play because guys get injured and he get opportunities to get in there. So land on a great team. Uh, Ben, the receiver from a couple years ago from Northwestern,
It's
he's
ironic. Yeah.
Skoranek. He's over there, so that's a good guy to follow behind. So, but the fifth round's tough. I think at the end of the day, the draft just proves the freak athletes are the guys that are going to go top 10, and the film only helps it, but it's hard to avoid those freak numbers going top 10. So that's probably why Kyle fell a little bit. And I think that's why Kyron fell a little bit. 4.6 just doesn't look good as a running back, no matter how you split it. And so I think that impacted his overall draft status. But for the rest of the guys that went undrafted, it's just kind of like, man, just got to take advantage of your opportunity. Kevin Austin, we all knew he was raw. Came out probably a little earlier, but it's probably a good time for him to come at the same time.
I mean, based upon the amount of injuries he had at Notre Dame and having his first healthy season and maybe not wanting to chance it again. I mean, I understood. I would have loved for him to come back. Heck, I would have loved for Jack Cohn to come back. He just
Oh,
didn't.
what a freaking on brand pickup that was. I could have called it myself.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean, he probably was talking to them the whole. He's gonna survive on the
But
roster.
dude, Tommy, darn well, Tommy, if he had Jack Cohn back with this offensive line, Jack would be throwing 60 times a game.
Oh yeah, Fiesta Bowl will be an everyday occurrence for sure. But then you get to see. It's like it feels good. You get to see the
Yeah,
guys
yeah,
that get picked up. For the guys that are still at school, to see you motivated. You practice with these guys every day.
yeah,
They can do it, you can do it, kind of thing. And it's just good for Marcus Freeman's first class. I think he can take on to that. He got a first rounder in his first class. I mean, I guess he can count Kyle, right? He can count Kyle.
You know, it
You
was
can count
kind
Kyle.
of, there were reports that came out about, you know, him and O'Leary went out there, and there was some reports that came out that, you know, they really weren't chummy with Kyle. Like, they were there, they were welcome, but then, you know, it was kind of like, you know, it was almost like they looked at it like a business arrangement that had to happen rather than, you know, that's
They
my
showing
coach.
love to Kyle.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, I think the team had their ways about Kyle, and Kyle's Kyle. And I think that, like I said, you know, all the coaches that came with their guys in the draft room or the green room were out there recruiting still on a business matter with the younger guys. So I don't think it was any different. But anytime somebody shows up in a situation like that for you, you know, you got to feel some type of love.
Did you, you know, did you feel like Cal quit on the team?
You know, it's interesting because if he went top five, I don't think nobody would care. But to see a guy that was projected like he was fall, and then you know everybody's gonna have their feelings about it. I think in the moment, everybody could understand why it would be a good decision as an individual. But football is such a team game that it's hard to think of individual accomplishments in the midst of that,
Yeah.
especially if you're a team that's storybook team, you trying to win it all, everybody's behind you, and you the lead character. You know, if Kyle was a different position, I don't think people would see it the same. But I mean, but who cares, bro? Ain't nobody living and trying to get the money you trying to get at that time. So when you
Man.
got 30 plus million sitting on the table right in front of you, and you so close that you get nicked up and it kind of scare you for a second, you kind of sitting there like, you know,
life life flashes before your
like,
very
yeah,
eyes.
a lot of purchases flash
Yeah.
before your eyes, and
Right.
you like,
Right.
man, I love the school, but listen, the school gonna be the school, and I gotta be me. And I think that's the mature decision. Obviously, it's not the fan favorite, but listen, not everybody gets a chance to sit in front of a table with 30 million, and you can't be mad at the person that does that.
I said this for about a month. I wanted him to drop.
Yeah,
I wanted him to go to a good team.
yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean? Because what you're known for in the league is winning, bro.
That's right.
Winning. And everybody in the league wants to get to that second contract. That second contract is the one. And then if you're blessed to get to a third, then heck, you got that generational wealth
That's
that
right.
we're talking about. Everybody's on the same path. I don't care if you're drafting the first round, second round, third round. Get that second man. Win, ball out, get that second contract. Make that real money in free agency. And I love him going to the Ravens. I love him being connected to Ed Reed, who's still around the organization, being able to pick his brain, being able to make an impact.
But I think Kyle's more of his own guy. I don't really
You're
see him
right. You're right. You're
a
right.
guy up under Ed Reed or
But you know, he
asking
spoke
for
about
advice.
Ed Reed. You know, he
Yeah,
sat on
but you
first
know,
take
Coach
and
Kelly
spoke
speak
about
about
Ed Reed. And I'm like, man, I'm thinking the same thing. Like,
he didn't grow up watching and it's not no shade
no,
to
he
him.
said he really grew up watching Shaun Taylor.
Yeah,
Now, that's still a ways back. You know,
it's a
Shaun
way.
Taylor,
It's like you hitting the right notes,
you're saying the
but you
right
ain't
thing.
but you ain't really hitting the notes. You
Right.
know, you hitting what's on paper, but you ain't like LeBron James reading the Malcolm X book. He got about 2 pages deep, and you know he want to get in depth analysis of it.
Like,
It's,
you
he
know,
ain't really reading.
if he said I grew up watching Minka Fitzpatrick, I'd have been like, okay.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So you know, if me saying watching Vic is probably the furthest you can see that, I can see how you grew up watching that, but you ain't what you a 2000s kid, you was on cartoons for real.
He has access to YouTube. It's possible.
It's possible, but not the inner kid where oh man, I'm going out there doing his moves and stuff. You ain't, you watching it as entertainment. You know what I'm saying? That's I'm
Right.
inspired. But we was watching it to be like, yeah, I'm going out there and try Vic's arm thing. I seen it.
Oh, no doubt.
But so yeah, I never took Kyle as a guy that was an understudy of greats like that. Like maybe he is, but he always gave me, he's kind of developing on his own, and he's got some talent that he's kind of working with, that writing his own story. Like he'd be more of a Harrison type of guy, where he just kind of do his thing. So I do think it's interesting that he's in such a tradition franchise. It sticks with Notre Dame. I mean, you got Ronnie Stanley there. That's shows you what it's like to get a second contract, make $100 million. He was a first rounder, so he can show you what it's like to get through those first couple seasons. And so he got the right mentorship in the building. Damn near Ronnie, the richest in the building, next to Lamar's about to make. So great role models ahead. So I think it'll be a great transition for Kyle. For Kyron, I think it's a little bit uphill for him, just because of the, every year you thrown in a room with a bunch of really talented running backs.
Yeah.
Few and far between. He's in a good system to where, similar to Kyle Shanahan, he'll find the football.
Yeah.
He gonna find his way on the field somehow, but it's a little tougher route for him.
Lucky Lefty podcast, as always, featuring and brought to you by Onora Whiskey. OnoraWhiskey.com. It's the premium American whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. You know what was dope? You're talking about recruiting tools, coaches, talking to recruits from the NFL draft. But it's nothing better than the players from those particular universities going high in the first round that speaks to young players. And let me tell you something, man. That was pretty dope when that trio from Ohio State went top 10.
Back to back. Yeah, that was
back to back. That was bananas. That was like
Ohio State gonna be eating on receivers for a long time.
A long time off of that, man. Off of that one Instagram post. Yo, this is crazy. I would like to point out that team still lost to Alabama in the championship game.
But Alabama's like a G League team for real.
But I'm sitting here saying, man, y'all had those three receivers on the field at the same time.
Now, Chris Olave developed. He wasn't like a Garrett Wilson coming out 5-star, because Garrett Wilson was like the top receiver.
Yeah, Chris Olave is like a technician, man.
Right. I'm saying
better with each year. Yeah,
definitely. And that shows what development looks like in a program. You got 3 guys getting drafted first round in the receiver room. 2 of those guys were 5-star, All-American. So it shows that you can keep the retention.
Yeah.
Then you bring in a first-round guy that you basically developed and got better through the years.
Yeah.
I mean, you doing everything right in that Ohio State room.
Yeah.
I think that's something that Chancey Stuckey can develop at Notre Dame, considering he get enough time to get his feet in there, because we got talented guys that could be first-round potential in the right system.
You know what's crazy, though? The wide receivers that have come through, Notre Dame should have had a run of 4 or 5 years of consecutive wide receivers in the first round.
Mean, from a number standpoint, athletically, hell yeah. I mean, Chase run 4.3, Miles run a 4.3, Equinemius run a 4.3, and they all 6'3" and up. So, I mean, the thing that's damning is that we didn't have the necessary pieces like Ohio State was putting together on offense. They was putting up 50 points a game. We'll be putting up 23,
Right.
13, 30 maybe.
Yeah.
And that's a reflection on the offense. Like, damn, y'all can't get open. Y'all not 100-yard games. Y'all not, now I think we play harder schedules than Ohio State. Like, give us Central. Well, shit, I can't even say that. They gave us Toledo, gave us all we can handle.
No, they did. Your boy had to come off the sideline with a broke dislocated finger, throw a touchdown pass.
I mean, we was having some real trouble.
I remember being at work in the studio downtown, and I'm sitting here. Dude, Michael Mayer caught the touchdown pass, and I swear I did this the entire time.
Like, not happy at all.
Like, man, this don't mean a damn thing.
This don't mean nothing.
Damn shame. This is a damn shame.
We got college football trying to check in on updates.
It was crazy because, like, I wish 80,000 at Notre Dame Stadium would have done the same thing.
Same thing. I'm not impressed.
Like, dude, this is a damn shame. Like, why are we struggling with Toledo?
Making it a real come to the last couple plays.
Exactly.
Like, you got to be on your feet because you really don't know.
And everybody was going crazy. The whole stadium's going crazy. And I'm like, man, the whole fan base should be like, this is some bullshit.
Alabama would never. I mean, we see how special that Georgia and Alabama team.
Dude, you realize it was like breaking news across every network when the FCS team the week before Auburn took the lead.
They took the lead
early
first quarter. It was the first quarter.
Oh my God, Alabama's down.
Had everybody paying attention. First quarter. It was 10-7. And by the end of the game, it was 50-10.
Dude.
By the end of the game.
That's the trend I'm looking forward to seeing.
We went to the wire. It was a little flash. Okay, Toledo got Notre Dame on their toes first quarter.
Yeah.
But it was they was checking in every 5 minutes. Upset alert.
No.
Nick Saban probably went in the halftime and saw that on TV, that flash across the headline, said, oh no, we're not about to play this game.
Yo, so the interesting thing that lends itself to Notre Dame having a good season is that Cincinnati, in the first 2 rounds, I think Cincinnati had 4 players go. Georgia had, in the first 2 rounds, I think Georgia had 8.
Yeah.
7 or 8.
Oh, that was 9 total?
No, N'Kobe Dean went later.
Okay, he went 3rd round.
No, I think first 2 rounds, they either had 6 or 7, if I'm not mistaken. Alabama had 5. So basically, and then I think Michigan had 3 with Hill, Ajabo, Hutchinson. So basically, talented teams make it to the BCS.
Basically.
And when I look at the projections for the 2023 class, I see 4 Notre Dame players in the first round. And I'm like, yo, okay, this might bode well for Notre Dame.
I mean, Cam Hart.
Well, no, Cam wasn't one of the players.
Oh, wow. So Michael Mayer.
Mike Mayer, Jared Patterson, Brandon Joseph.
First round, Brandon Joseph, for real?
Yeah, they had that dude first round.
Oh, okay. And then who was the last one?
And Isaiah Foskey.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I know we got 2 for sure with Foskey and Mayer. I can hang my hat on that, go to sleep, feel good about it.
Yeah.
But Brandon Joseph, okay. But I think that's us doing that, though.
Yeah. I think all of them go at least first 2 rounds. Mayer's a lot first round.
Mayer's a lot.
Sure. First round.
For sure. Foskey's high second, but if he has a great season like he should, He's a first round guy.
Yeah, and that's not even counting like if Jason Adamiola has a season, Cam Hart has a season, it can be a second round pick. Notre Dame could really end up with 6 kids in the first 2 rounds of the NFL draft.
Don't let us win it all.
Yeah. And that bodes well. I don't know if it means that it'll be a BCS berth, but teams that end up in the BCS usually have a lot of players that go in that upcoming draft.
I think if Kyron would have played in the Fiesta, he would have got drafted higher.
Heck, if Kyron played in the Fiesta, Jack Cohn would have probably
thrown
the ball only 48 times.
Oh, yeah, true. Because Kyron would have had to carry that thing a couple times.
Because Kyron would have probably caught the ball 6 to 8 times out of the backfield.
For sure.
Lucky Lefty podcast, man. So, some interesting comments, bro. NIL went crazy this weekend when reports of Pitt wide receiver Jordan Addison going through spring practice. And, Lincoln Riley trying to poach him, finding NIL deals for him, just like he found them for Caleb Williams to get him to come out there. Jordan Addison might be going out to the University of Southern California. I'll let you know if I see him walking around campus Wednesday, bro. I'll let you know. I'll be undercover for about 2 or 3 days on the campus out there.
Do we have something like that? We're not there yet, I don't think.
Man, look.
But we ain't throwing the ball enough for Jordan Addison, so.
No, he wouldn't come here.
He wouldn't want to come here,
He wouldn't come here. More established quarterback. And I know people will probably disagree. The word is more established. I didn't say better because I don't want to start an argument here in the chat. Lincoln Riley has a more established quarterback, meaning he's played and shown that he can do some things with his legs and his arm.
Okay, what would you say Tyler does better?
Dude, I'm not here to debate. I specifically said the word established. Tyler Buckner will have his opportunity to establish himself.
I think so too.
In college football. He has yet to do that.
Yes.
So he is not established. The other quarterback I'm speaking of is established. That's all I'm saying. I have nothing to say about who's better, who's going to be better when they leave college. I don't know. Prime time. Now let's start with former Notre Dame offensive tackle, college football Hall of Famer, Aaron Taylor, who hopped on his Twitter and his Instagram, and he had a message for college football and the state of it when it comes to the transfer portal and NIL.
Hey, college football. It's time to wake the fudge up. Empires don't stay empires forever. They crumble from within, and almost always after great runs of dominance. We're at a tipping point, y'all. What's taking place right now behind the scenes in the NIL world is despicable, and it's dangerous, and it's irresponsible. And this ain't about the kids getting theirs. Student athletes have always deserved a bigger piece of the pie. This is about the adults in the room. It's always been about the adults in the room, which is how we got the sham notion of amateurism in the first damn place. This is about the institutions and the donor bases and the development departments and the extremely successful men and women that make up that population. But this win by any means necessary mentality is a poison. It's termites, and those termites are eroding the fabric and foundation of what makes this sport the greatest on the planet. There's an old saying that no matter how far down the wrong road you've gone, turn around. Unfortunately for us, I think the genie's out of the bottle and we can't get this toothpaste back in the tube, but we can pull the damn car over, catch our breath, orient ourselves, and figure out a responsible way for everybody to win that is in the best interest of our sport. Because what we're doing now ain't. and we better figure that out.
I had to retweet it. I know for a long time you and I have been like on opposite sides of this NIL thing because I saw disaster coming because it's just irresponsible people handling the situation and not knowing like how to drive the car. Like there's a storm coming and you still driving the sports car at 95 miles per hour on the expressway with sports tires. It's like, fam, slow down. Like you don't see what's coming ahead. And it's not about people not deserving open market and getting what they deserve. It's like he said, it starts to infect the adults. We're seeing it with kids. Kids are falling in love with programs, want to commit to programs, and it's their parents forcing them to continue to take trips, trying to get them to go to the schools with the NIL money. Parents. It's like you can't even make a decision on college anymore based upon just loving the school, bro. Like they've taken the process of being a kid and a teenager out of the process of recruiting. Like you turn these 16, 17-year-olds into businessmen with briefcases when they go on official visits. Like we got to sit down and talk about NIL deals. What about who has the better chicks? Who has the cuter girls? What about all the stuff that used to matter? What about?
But we gotta be honest too, though. They're not doing this with all the recruits.
No, just the top.
90% of guys are going learning about the girls and learning about what's going on.
That's true.
So I think it's a little bit inflated because we're talking about a small percentage of elite guys that are only doing what they are doing just in the open now. And I do think that there's nothing wrong with that because over there in Italy and all them over them little countries over there.
You're saying like the top 250. Because there are 4 stars, or 5 and 4 stars, and some 3 stars getting NIL money.
Yes. And that's the whole point of the sport. Unless you want to do everything for free, or if you talking about, which was a problem. Well, I mean, I thought everybody was complaining about not getting no money. Now is everybody getting too much money, or it's no way to split the apple. It's either or. On top of that, there's no equality in anything. Let's just keep it real fair. So
we talked about that, right? When you hear the NFL saying this is a league of parity, it's like that's bull.
Yeah,
there's no parity, dude. There is no. Dude, stop.
There's no everybody getting it right.
Right. Right.
Because you don't want to be in that neither.
Right.
I definitely don't want to be in that.
Right.
So I think that whenever there's money involved, there's going to be iniquities. And for what we're talking about, this NIL is really just the top, I even say 3% of college football players. Because there's a lot of college football players. You got to think there's like 100 plus, maybe 110 on every team, give or take. Like everybody that plays on football team is about 110. You getting maybe 2 or 3 guys.
Yeah.
I mean, Georgia, obviously, but that's you talking about the top 3 team in the whole thing. So we talking about little percentage of college football players that are even getting approached. Now, you talking about $8 million, $30 million. That's a lot of money. Like Bryce definitely deserves all that. But Bryce is one quarterback out of the hundreds of college quarterbacks. So I'm not really concerned about it. It's good to have these young kids aspire to make some money, because how many people go to college and make $0? So it's really like, man, it's like a better way of winning the lottery. If you have a kid that's talented enough to get paid at an early age, chase it.
Yeah.
Because you can't eat books, you can't eat equipment rooms and jerseys, you can't eat none of that. So as a parent, I'm thinking for you, kid. Yeah. Don't be calling me for no $5, $10, $20. Your talent has afforded you the ability to make some money on your own, and you go into school. That's double whammy. Why would you go to Sinclair? Why you gonna go to the Q for free? Why? You better look at Tennessee.
Yeah.
Take that little duffel. What you don't want to live. You're gonna be living good in 3 years anyway. Because I'm gonna tell you what, a higher or a bigger percent of the kids that go to school right now, they ain't focused on school. They ain't focused on getting the best grades possible.
But
That's a bigger percent of guys.
I think most people know that a vast majority of elite athletes go to college to prepare for the NFL.
No, they don't. They don't do that because they're so focused on the student athlete. Everybody has the crux on these student athletes. The athletes know you're going there for football, but
Who believes that? I can't believe
they never let you say it. They never let you say it.
Okay. I tend to believe that the public is a little bit more understanding than they were 20 years ago.
It's the same. What
When
happened
it comes to the term student athlete, I say.
But that's what shut up and dribbles all about. We're supposed to be doing more
Now
than
you're
just
talking about the media, though. And you're talking about a part of the media. You know what that side of the media is all about.
I'm saying just in the bigger picture of athletes are just more than the ball players that they are perceived to be. That's the fight that athletes are trying to bring to the students. But in reality, you're right. Everybody knows the elephant in the room. Y'all going there for football, man.
Yeah.
Come on, you can graduate school at any time. I don't want to hear none of this. I'm trying to get it. Look, you get a degree for free online. It don't take much to get some education, but it take a lot to get to the league. So I don't want to hear this whole, we trying to make it, no.
Dude, I'm different. Maybe I'm not like everybody else. I'm a different fan, right?
Yeah, you want to okay, but if you're paying them good, I guarantee they play good.
When I'm looking at the scoreboard in the BCS and we get dusted by like 30 points, I don't give a damn about graduation rate, fam.
Right.
I don't care nothing about the graduation rate of Notre Dame, how great of an institution it is from an educational standpoint, networking. And that very moment, all I care about is that scoreboard. That's
honest recruiting. That's honest recruiting.
That's all I care about.
Yeah.
And it's like, I believe most fans feel the same way. Like we only start throwing the educational piece when we don't get a recruit, and we want to throw it back at other fan bases. Like, man, look, we know y'all got dummies on y'all squad, so y'all don't care. We graduate our players. That's our only defense.
That's all your mama joke back to y'all. That's all
right.
You ain't got the grades. That's all.
Right. That's our only defense because we got smacked. And that's something I hope changes real soon.
Yeah, and it's gonna change when we start being real about it. Come on and get this little duffel bag, and then you reap. Like that's what I don't understand. There's nothing ever wrong with winning.
Ever
winning at all costs.
Yeah,
is what you're supposed to do in life.
Dude,
I ain't never seen somebody not.
That's how it's taught. That's how it's taught.
Yeah, you're supposed to listen. You're supposed to win at life. Don't ever think that win at all costs means you have to take lesser. If it says, look, we can win a champion. Georgia did it. Georgia proved it. Look, if we got to get these certain amount of guys in here, if we can fit 25 stars on this team, we can win a championship against Bama. And that's what they went and did at all costs.
Right.
And look at the benefit. You got a first pick of the draft, 6 guys and have never done before.
Yeah.
That's what winning all costs look like.
Yeah.
We need to do some of that.
Yeah.
So I love Aaron Taylor. I just don't agree with that. Winning all costs.
And I see it in the chat. Like, what is winning the right way now? Like, what is winning the right way? What is winning the right way? Like, come on, man. Look, let me tell you something. That cat Lou Holtz changed things by going in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
There was a lot of Prop 48 going on to build that 1988 national championship team. Like that But that once again, that's the dangerous thing about saying a kid is a Notre Dame fit. Because according to most people, guys like Jerome Bettis, Tony Rice, Todd Light weren't Notre Dame fits. But look at the young men they became when you give them an opportunity.
Give them you got to do your part too and grow them. They be taking them as face value and be like, well, we just can't do nothing.
Dude, that's what irritates me, man, when you have coaches that get paid to coach and they don't coach.
And they give up.
Right. Like you're getting paid to coach.
Yeah, like your job is to develop the kid.
Coach these young men. It's amazing. Do something. Yo, so our guy who's been a guest of ours, fantastic guest, Coach Carl Reed, 24/7 Sports. He had Deion Sanders on his podcast, and Deion was talking about the NIL space, and he's not feeling it either.
So yesterday, news started breaking. There was rumors that Pitt's receiver Jordan Addison was going to leave Pitt, and he possibly have a $2 million NIL deal coming from USC or other schools. What is your take on NIL right now and the transfer portal and how it's affecting these type of decisions?
I like it. I love for these guys to be able to get paid for their name, image, and likeness. I love that. But it's becoming free agency, real free agency. And if you don't have it, you're not going to be able to compete. It's just another way to me to keep the schools that don't have the proper funding down. We can't, first of all, I'm not giving a kid nothing like that. No, I want you to focus on the NFL, not the NIL. You ball out and you're prepared yourself for the NFL. If you get comfortable with, you already got a meal and you got that coming, I mean, come on. How hungry are you going to be to go out there and work and go get it? And we can't lose the fact that these are young men that they got to stay hungry. They got to stay interested. They got to stay invested. And we're not getting to bidding wars. We don't get down like that, man. And when a kid say, "Oh, coach, how about that paper?" Click.
But Coach Fine, let me ask you this. If a kid is getting offered $2 million, does he have to look at it? Or should he be looking more at who can prepare him to be a pro? You've been a top level.
A little bit of both. First of all, if he's been offered $2 million, that means they got it. That's not the kid's fault. That's not his fault whatsoever. But he should be really looking at, where is this going to take me? Okay, is the quarterback there? Is the system there? Is the environment there? Am I going to be happy? Because you could be rich and very unhappy. I've been that before. So he got to understand, that young man has to understand the complexity of the whole package. And it cannot get to bidding wars for young kids that really ain't done nothing yet. That really ain't done nothing yet.
Bro, the point he brought up, because I don't know how these adults are going to act once they give this money away. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you give this young man that's never played a snap this money. How much control do you think you got over this young 17, 18-year-old? You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, what comes with this money? And that's something we haven't seen yet. We haven't seen horror stories and things go the wrong way. But at some point, you're not giving somebody $2 million without having some stipulations. And these guys need to know you're really not getting $2 million, bruh. That's 50% off top. That's taxes. That's taxes, bruh. And then the dude that set it up, he's gonna get a piece. And then the state of California, those are high taxes out there, bro. What is it, about 14, 15% now?
And going up.
And going up? Come on, man. So that $2 million, man, you bet that's under $1 million. Easy.
But that kills me though, because he was just saying he loves the fact that they making money off the NIL and that it's not their fault that the money comes their way. But that's fast forward 2 or 3 years, they dealing with $30, $40 million from the league. So I don't know how 2 years, 3 years make that much of a difference, because that kid is still a kid. And we both agreed that money only makes you more of who you are. So if anything, the money earlier with the right environment of people instructing them, it could be a positive thing. Obviously,
We
money
don't
being
know. We see 5 stars be duds every year, bro. We
yeah,
see
but that's
the 5 stars because you said those are the ones, the elites that are getting the money. We see 5 stars that turn out to be duds.
right, but it goes back to when money's involved in any type of business or any type of situation like this, it's no different than gambling. You're gonna have all types of things that happen, good and bad, because the money's involved. You're gonna have some shicey stuff happen, you're gonna have some good things happen. I think the fact that you have the ability to even have a chance to make money where there wasn't and there were rules in place before where you couldn't, that's just the new world that you dive into. Obviously, you can find all type of messed up deals, but there's messed up recruiting deals too that are for free, that mess up a kid's whole life. So these coaches will lie to a kid, get you to go there, and then leave the next year, and then now the kid was stuck, stuck,
Right.
and couldn't do nothing about it, couldn't complain, couldn't leave, couldn't do nothing but have a E60 documentary after they graduate when they ain't got nothing and they living back at home. So yeah, there's a bunch of bad things that can come out of the NIL deal, but at least you got the chance. Now you got to add another layer of being responsible, just like you would have to be responsible 2 or 3 years later getting to the NFL. So if anything, I don't hear nobody talking about them young soccer players over there don't even go to school. They go to club teams and playing with adults and all type of money that they get from agents and contracts and feeder systems and all type of stuff in Europe. So it's no different to me. Like Luka Doncic was playing professional when he was 15. So where is the talks about him growing up through the money and all that stuff? Like, it's just different. I don't think the age matters because the league to college is only a couple years.
Well, I think it does matter because you're talking about a European culture as opposed to an American culture. That's number one. And I'll get to this because this dude that's going to be put on the petty train today, who got fired over the weekend by the Chicago Bears. This idiot. Dude, we'll get to this dude and then petty train soon. But
those your boys.
Yo, there is. You know how it is, bro. And you can speak to it being at Notre Dame and being at Florida, a school like Florida. Like, there's a hunger in players that drive them from certain programs, like from just different backgrounds. Like, yo, I'll never forget. You know the relationship I have with Jared Payton, bro. And he talks about it. He went to Miami. He talks about it all the time. He's like, yo, I didn't have the same drive that my dad did coming from Mississippi. He was like, I didn't. You know, he was like, I grew up in the burbs. I had money. Everything was sweet. I played club soccer until junior high school. I was just good enough and athletic enough to play football. Started playing quarterback my junior year. Miami saw me, offered me a scholarship. I went down there with them dogs and was like, yo, it was an eye opener. Like, oh, they down here for business. Like, this is business for them. For me, I'm just coming down here thinking, oh, we just coming down here to play football. It's different mentalities when you walk into programs, bro. And you can see the dudes, like you said, like, yo, I'm here for 3 years. That's it. I'm getting it done. And I'm out of here because I have people dependent on me. I have a family on my back. And I have to make this happen. I have to make this happen. And then you have some others who are blessed enough to come from situations where they can go and enjoy everything. They can enjoy going to class and they can become class president at the university or student body president and do other things. They can leave and go take a job in politics in DC after 2 years. Man, the makeup of locker rooms is so diverse at these big time universities for guys that are there for different reasons and able to experience different things at the same university, I don't think people really understand just how diverse the mindsets are in a college football locker room, especially a big time program.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, look at a place like Notre Dame. 85% of the team is from all parts of different of the country. So you're dealing with all types of perspectives,
Yeah.
different opinions, and all type of situations of culture come into play. From even guys that live in New York, from guys that live in Florida, from guys that live in California, it all mixes in one place. But I do think it also comes to how you were raised. I mean, you look at a guy like Austin Rivers, has everything in front of him and plays like a kid that has nothing, and it got the respect. It took a little bit, but got the respect of the guys in the league because they saw the hunger he had, and he already had it all. So I think a lot of it just comes just from your situation. And just like we said, money just makes you more of who you are. I know there's a lot of guys that were getting paid before it even became fashionable that still played well and still went to the league to get paid. And, the motivations of why you do it, if the results equal the same on the field, I think it's money well spent either way it goes. So for a lot of guys, it's like, man, your motivation changes depending on what you allowed to change. I think for again, you saw in the comments, they talked about Justin Ross was a 5-star recruit, had everything freshman year, supposed to be a top draft pick, didn't get picked up at all, as in got signed as a free agent. Well, if he was getting that NIL money as a freshman, collecting on that, and then he doesn't get drafted, at least you don't feel it's like, what perspective are you looking at it from? Are you looking at a perspective of, oh, well, that's what happens. You guys he was a bust or what, he got hurt or whatever. Or you're looking at a perspective of, man, I'm glad he had that NIL when he did. I know he didn't go to the league, but at least he's sitting on some money instead of being all for nothing. So
and
I think
all of this because just think about it. All of this because the NCAA wasn't dumb enough to give a percentage off a video game. Like flat out, man. We are here because the NCAA did not want to give Ed O'Bannon a piece of money off merchandise and video gaming. That's all.
Think about how stingy you have to be to even do that.
Right.
So just imagine the type of games they play with NIL, with different licensings of NCAA and stuff. So this is just a trickle-down effect because they probably know how greedy they became when they start seeing them TV deals come in, them conference checks come in, and they're like, oh, we ain't giving the players nothing. Now, the players getting a little bit of stuff. They like, oh, whoa, we need to organize
down a little bit.
Yeah, oh, you need to organize it, really?
And the states are loving it.
They're loving it.
The states are like, oh man, we get to tax this.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Like every state is like, oh yeah, bring that NIL money. That's just more taxes. We love it.
Yeah. So I don't see the problem. Everybody's winning. Everybody's winning.
The only states that don't get money are what? Texas doesn't have state tax. Does Florida have
think of Alabama's GDP and how much Bryce Young himself raised the GDP in the state off of 2 years, off of 2 seasons.
Man, look.
He one of the richest men in the state of Alabama.
So we'll see how this thing plays out. There will be some horror stories coming.
I mean, yeah, but that's like
everything. But my prayer is that the kids don't get hurt. That's my prayer, dude. Because there are some overzealous parents right now, in my opinion, that are going to end up putting their kids in the wrong situation. And it's just not going to play out. Now, will they have some money to deal with? And shout out to Lewis Singh, who was drafted by the Vikings in the first round from Georgia. This young man, all of his NIL money that he's gotten over the last 2 seasons, he invested it. And I thought that was very smart and very dope.
Into what though?
I have no idea. He
Oh.
said he sat down, he got introduced to some financial advisors by Kirby Smart and some financial people that were professors at the University of Georgia. He found some things to invest his money in. He's going to sit on it for like 15 years. And once he retires from the NFL, based upon the plan that he has, that's what he intends to live off, because at that point, the interest will have grown it to a certain point. And I felt like, yo, it's something like Derrick Rose said the same thing. He said, John Calipari said, when you get your first million, don't touch it. Derrick Rose said that's what he did. He invested his first million, and he said by the time he retires, whatever he invested it in, that million is supposed to be up to like 12.5. Just letting it generate off interest. So, just hearing that, okay, this young man has his head on right. The one thing I hated seeing, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. And I love fashion. I love big pieces, statements. But some of these chains and necklaces, bro, at the draft, it's like, come on, man. All right, come on, man. Like, okay. All right. That's cool.
It's the YouTube music videos, man.
It's crazy. Like, you already have the word sauce just like blinged out. You just had to get a bottle blinged out too. It's crazy.
Guys are different these days, man.
Boy, y'all doing way, way too much. Jeffrey, thank you for the super chat, my dude. And I think we missed one earlier. Let me try and find it. But
there's one talking about on the comments saying he busted his knee, wasn't able to walk again. Now he's a supervisor at Tesla. And he's saying there's not a moment where he doesn't regret his education. But what if he had an NIL deal where he was making a couple million from Newcastle, England, and then gets hurt? Would he be a supervisor at Tesla? See?
I don't think anybody that had an opportunity, I feel like this, if you have an opportunity to get an education, get it.
Well, what do you think? What would you do? Let's say you 18, you got offered you a 5-star. You can go anywhere in the country right now.
Say my son. Say my son.
Okay, your son.
Don't say me at 18. Say my son.
Why not you at 18?
I have a son at 18. No, don't say me. Don't say me. I got a son at 18, right? So go ahead. Go ahead. What's the situation?
Why can't I say?
No, we don't want to do Shaun at 18 with 2 million, bro. We don't want to do that.
Would you be nice though?
Let's talk about mature Shaun, who has fathered a son that is 18, about to be offered 2 million to go to a university. What's the rest? What's the rest? What's the rest?
Are you advising him to look at the money, or are you advising him like you saw Dion said? Are you advising him to look at the whole aspect?
I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm gonna keep it a buck because my wife would be very instrumental, because I already know my son will be a mama's boy. I already know he would be a mama's boy. So my wife would be very instrumental. I've always said, if I had a son, we get in that bag, whether it's under the table or legal. We taking that duffel bag. I've always said that. So
right? Okay, I know I'm not bag.
However, I would not infringe on the process of him falling in love with a university. I still would want him to have that experience. So I would not allow how I feel about the opportunities business-wise to infringe upon him being a 17, 18-year-old going through the process of saying, yo, I really like this school, just the school. And then then I allow him to make a decision based upon everything that's on the table. Because ultimately, it's not about to be a family decision. Yo, you have to live with this.
You wouldn't say, okay, but Nico Immobilita, $8 million on the table. You don't have no nothing.
First of all, you put me in a situation saying I wouldn't have nothing. That's not my situation. So I've never known. I'm blessed, bro. So I've never known not having nothing.
I'm saying not having. I'm saying $8 million on the table, as opposed to not having any money on the table. And he likes the university. You're saying you wouldn't say anything. You would just be like, okay, don't take the $8 million. Go
come on, let's be fair. He's a 5-star. We can create opportunities if you're a 5-star.
Okay, but you wouldn't take it out
the only opportunity.
Okay, I got it. You got to be a 5-star.
But think about this. Are you bro? If I'm like, yo, you got to look at this $8 million, and my son says, but yo, I really love this coaching staff. I really love this school. I love the campus. I think it's the place for me. That's my son's decision. I'm riding with my son on his decision. I don't have to like it.
That's fair.
I don't have to like it, but I ride with and I'm gonna let him know, like, yo, I'm man. Me and my wife, we just gonna have to, we're gonna have to call the intercessors. We're gonna have to pray real hard. He stays healthy for 3 years, bro. That's all that means. Like we going before the Lord extra hard for 3 years. Like, man, keep your knees healthy, bro.
Oh
keep your knees healthy.
Would you manage the money? Let's say he takes it, though. Let's say he takes it. Would you manage the money for him? Like, would you be like, okay, I'll give you $100?
I would encourage him to take a similar step as Louis C.
Okay.
Absolutely. Like, there's no need for you to even touch this. But the university's gonna take care of you.
Yeah,
the university's gonna take care of you. Put this money up, let it build, let it grow. And this is the money you live off of when you retire, bro. This is it. Now you can use your NFL money for like business ventures and whatever you want to do. Now that is a positive way. If you're looking at the NIL money to establish your generational wealth before you even get to the NFL, then man, by all means, man, rock out. I think that's a great way to look at it. But if you're ready to go, we're going to have freshmen that ain't played a down and freshmen that haven't done anything pulling up in Testarossas, dude. Like, really? That's what we doing?
But we said we don't care. Don't count my pockets now.
No, I'm not counting your pockets, bro. But it's like
count people's pockets now.
You rolling around campus like that.
That's how they got it. That's how they got it.
Man. Now, you know darn well, if a freshman rolls up in the Testarossa, you already know how that's going to be accepted in the locker room.
Man, we supposed to
keep it a buck.
Man, power on to you, brother. Good job getting your cash. That's how we supposed to be acting. That's what Dion said.
Who was we? I said the locker room. I'm talking about the locker room. If they see a dude,
but that's happening now.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm sure Jack Cohn was sitting in there and being like, oh yeah, Buckner, you got a whole agent and you got, money coming through. I see your new Dockers in the QB room.
Notre Dame threw that dude a lifeline. He still couldn't get drafted. Come on, man. Let's stop.
I'm sure it exists in the locker room already. But it's like motivating.
Lilo, yeah. We could take a meeting with you, Lilo. We could definitely take a meeting with you. And that I would disagree with. And Malik, you would know. Dante himself is not looking for the bag.
Yeah, I don't think he's looking for the bag.
Not Dante.
I mean, he should be looking for some cash, but I don't think that's the most important thing to him. Because I'm gonna stop trying to act like dudes ain't looking for some money.
I mean, if it's out there, like Dion said, if they offer you 2, that means they got it. They got it to spend. That's pocket change. Yeah, we can give them $2 million. It's nothing. Go ahead and get that to
deals
them.
is going for mega
Right.
quadrillion dollars.
Right. Go ahead and give that to them. So, no. Man, look. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. I just hope that the young men don't end up getting hurt. And then the adults are standing back like, oh, my fault.
Somebody getting hurt. That's what the
Man.
ESPN 30 for 30s are for. Somebody
Petticoat. Petticoat Junction.
It's time to get petty
We did a good job executing. Are you upset with something?
and fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you. You don't? No.
What is today's petty historic Petty Junction?
Petticoat Junction.
Yo, Petty Junction, each and every day, pettiest story. Well, on Mondays, it's Of the Weekend, brought to you by Onora Whiskey at NoraWhiskey.com. It's that premium American whiskey at NoraWhiskey.com. Hey, man, let me go ahead and throw this dude on the petty train. This right here, and I'm sure everybody missed it because we jumped on it here in Chicago immediately. Former, and I say former because he had a job as of Friday, former Bears scout Chris Prescott described second-round pick Jaquan Brisker out of Penn State as having a PhD. That means he's poor, hungry, and desperate. And football is all he thinks about. And he thought that was cool. He loves the game of football because he has a PhD. He's poor, hungry, and desperate. And he got fired the next morning. This idiot actually came out to talk about the draft picks as the scout with the media. He just got hired. He just got hired by the Bears, bro. And this dude described your second round draft pick
bro.
as having a PhD because he's poor, hungry, and desperate and loves the game of football. This idiot get this dude a one-way ticket on the petty train. If you don't get your goofy tail out of here, get your goofy self. Bro, dude, it's worse when you watch the video.
Really thought it was a one-liner that was gonna be remembered.
No, bro. It was the worst thing
Everybody's looking like, oh no,
I ever heard.
No,
It
he
was like,
didn't.
wait a minute. You know how
What do
you
you
hear
mean
something?
by that? What do you mean by that?
You know how you hear something and you're like, wait a minute.
What do you
Did he
say?
just say that?
Poor, hungry. You know, he thought about that before he went up there
Bro,
because he had a 3-letter acronym for it.
yes. PhD.
So before he got up there, he's like, I'm gonna knock him dead with this one.
Yes. 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 You
Like
know
in his
what
little
it is.
notes, he like scribbling his notes on each guy. He said PhD. That sounds good. Poor, hungry, and desperate.
He was like, well, they gonna eat this up.
What was his player profile he read to get poor, hungry, and desperate? What did you read to get that? Them
Dude.
player profile. We gotta check them player scout notes. What them scout notes talking about? Poor, hungry, and desperate. Whew.
He is a we call it PhD. Poor, hungry, and desperate. Football is his life.
Mm,
What?
yeah. Mm.
What are you talking about, man?
Your ass is double fired.
Man, that man came back to the building for the next day of the draft, and all his stuff was boxed up. They boxed it up for him. Like, hey,
Come talk to me, bro.
hey, man, you got to go, bro.
They said, they said, what are we gonna do with that? What are we gonna do with that?
Like, how do you lose your job on your off day?
Thinking you
You're
wrote
a
it.
scout. You're a
and you
scout.
did it
You're
to
not
yourself.
scouting, right?
Yeah,
You're a
you're not
scout.
even scouting. You
So you
talking
own.
about scouting.
Right? You lost your job on your off day, being stupid.
And you did it. You sat down, really put them notes together. Because you don't just come up with PhD and be like, off the top of the dome. No, you sat down and was like, how can I describe this kid?
Yeah.
And I described him so well that I put 3 letters to define it.
Acronym.
Try to be clever.
Right.
Like he got a P. No, not regular PhD. He just po hungry and
po hungry and
like he was trying to be funny. Yeah, your ass gots to go. Cause what is that? You trying to be funny?
Bro, I could not believe it, man. I was waiting all weekend. Like, I cannot wait for the petty train on Monday. Because this dude is an idiot. I want to put Marcus Freeman on the petty train, bro.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, he sat down on the set right before the draft, man, with the ESPN college football crew. And he sat there with Ryan Day on set. And they tried to set it up. And, this clip would show why I can't stand Desmond Howard. Yeah, I already don't like him. You throw the fact he went to Michigan in there.
He a corn
He
guy.
ain't just a cornball. He's just the biggest cornball in the world, man. Marcus Freeman, this shows why he's on the petty train.
They all have the dream to be here, right? Be on the red carpet, get their name called by Commissioner Goodell, and you have to be able to show them in recruiting, hey, this is a reality. You can achieve that status here at Notre Dame or Ohio State, anywhere you go. And so I believe this is so powerful in recruiting to show them, hey, in 3-4 years, this is what your future is going to be.
Well, you guys have certainly put together great talent. Looking forward to seeing your teams go at it in the opening weekend, first full opening weekend.
What was the line again? Whatever it is, make it bigger.
Bears said 13.5.
Oh, make it 14. It'll go up by this game time. It'll go up.
Ryan, that's the price of all your.
First of all,
they haters. They're
I'm gonna
haters.
need Desmond Howard to stop laughing so hard, dog.
What you laughing about, Desmond Howard?
Like, let's not do this. Let's not do this. But I want to focus on how uncomfortable. I want to focus on how much of a boss Marcus Freeman was and how uncomfortable Ryan Day looked. I just want to point that out.
Yeah, because Ryan Day is already going through his mind. He knows about Ohio State.
Yes.
He's familiar. So I can't surprise him with the Ohio State mystique. So, and he looked better than me, dressed better than me, Marcus Freeman, the youngest, hottest coach on the market right now. Ryan Day knows it's lost before it got started. That's all.
Man, let me tell you something, bro. He was a boss. I want you to check out his dress pants, though, bro. He had the dress joggers on with the suit. You got to peep this, dude. Only a cat like me would peep this to point this out to you, brother. I was like, this dude,
fashion geek.
Marcus Freeman is smooth, bro.
Yeah.
He made the cuff into the jogger cuff with the suit.
With the suit?
You gotta peep it, bro. Just look once again when they pan.
They all have the dream to be here, right? Be on the red carpet, get their name called by Commissioner Goodell, and you have to be able to show them in recruiting, hey, this is a reality. You can achieve that status here at Notre Dame or Ohio State, anywhere you go. And so I believe this is so powerful in recruiting to show them, hey, in 3-4 years, this is what your future is going to be.
Well, you guys have certainly put together great talent. Looking forward to seeing your teams go at it in the opening weekend, first full opening weekend.
What was the line again? Whatever it is, make it bigger.
Bears said 13.
This cat, Desmond Howard. Whatever it is, make it bigger.
He don't even know what he's laughing about.
Whatever it is, make it bigger. Hey, man, get your clown tail out of here. Yeah. Make it bigger. Go ahead. Make the line bigger. Make it bigger. Let's do it. Take it to 14, 15, whatever you think. That's
whatever
all right.
you need. Whatever you need,
Right.
man.
That's why, dude. That's why I'm walking into Ohio talking that ish, bro. I'm sorry.
That's
And
right.
let me know if I start to embarrass you. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay because I'm on the right side of history on this one.
Okay, because this is your state. It's your state.
Yeah, I had to calm the state down. When we go in there, we got to calm them down.
You know what I'm saying? Like if I get Tekashi, like I wouldn't let you walk in Chicago and talk about Tekashi.
You talking about the White Sox?
I wouldn't. I pull your coattail like, bro, relax.
Yeah,
relax.
Yeah.
So, if you need to pull my coattail on something while we're in Ohio, just like Shaun, where you need to.
No, we're going in guns blazing. They need.
That's
to know.
all I'm saying. That's all I need to know.
Yeah.
That's all I need to know. I'm ready for it.
It's gonna be looking like Ryan day and night.
He looked mad comfortable, man. I love the cuffs. The jogger cuff is something new because cats like to wear. You saw he didn't have the socks on.
He didn't have the socks on. Everybody had socks. He didn't have the socks on.
He had the jogger look, the jogger cuff with the nice suit. I like that dude's swag, man. I really do. I like his swag.
Young man swag.
Yo, I don't know about Under Armour, but that dude, Marcus Freeman, needs to come out with a suit line. He really should.
Yeah.
He really should. He really should. Love what Coach Freeman did. Lucky Lefty podcast. We appreciate you guys. Give you some more great content. We got some guests coming up this week as well. Unless it's later, there won't be a show Wednesday. I'll be in the air. I land kind of early. Well, I'll be in LA around 10 o'clock. So let me get settled. This is my first time actually staying at a hotel in LA.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because, I usually get a crib.
Right.
But quick trip in and out. I'll be downtown in a hotel. Should be fun.
Yeah, it'd be nice, man. Come on out.
I'm mad, though, because my boy Sid would actually be home in Chicago for Mother's Day.
They flip-flopping, yeah. Mother's Day, big
Mother's
weekend.
Day. That's all right. When I land Saturday night back in the shop, we going out. So it's all
I hear that, brother.
It's all good. Unfortunately, you'll still be in LA. So
I missed that one. I'll get the next one.
Yeah, you'll miss that one, but we're gonna make it happen. No, I'm not at the Ritz. I'm not at the Ritz. But I like where I'm at though. I'm downtown. I'm downtown at a nice spot.
You gotta hit the Grove, man. Go to your spot at the Grove, man.
You already know. You already know. But my daughter's already hit me up. I got to go to the Grove because she got a couple of things she want to get from the OVO store.
Oh yeah, she said, let's go see it.
Yeah,
that's how they get you.
Yeah,
you gotta go see this real quick.
Yeah, so I'm gonna play the good dad this trip.
Yeah, get the pocketbooks open, man.
Yeah, even though I can't stand that dude. What did you think about the Future joint?
He just get wild and wilder. I guess it's just a culture thing at this point. Because it ain't about the music with Future. It's a culture thing. So whatever. When you're doing it that long, you just gotta keep up the surprises. I don't know.
I like it, man. I think the sequencing was pretty good. I wasn't a big Future fan early on, so it's early stuff I really didn't gravitate to. But you could tell he's talented.
Yeah,
you could tell he's talented. But I will say, everybody, you need to check out that new PJ Morton.
Check it out.
Man, that PJ Morton is amazing. If you just love music, it's an amazing project. All right?
That's right.
So let's get it going. Smash the like button. Let everybody know. Lucky Lefty podcast. We spin it different. Big announcement this week about the release of the website coming up with the merchandise, man. Stay tuned. You saw the hat already.
Saw the hat.
You saw the hat. Man, it's in the other room.
That's right.
I wish I could have brought it up right now. But
It's
we'll
coming
show you.
soon to a store near you.
Yes, sir. Lucky Lefty podcast as always. Spend it different today, or it's late. So make sure you spend it different tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow for another episode of Lucky Lefty podcast. You dig?